What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Creating Wealth Podcast, where I, Kyle, from Kyle Curtin Real Estate, interview local top dogs in the real estate investing, wealth building, and personal finance industries. Let's build together. Welcome to episode 14 of the podcast. Today, I am interviewing Zakariya Narowski. He is a really crazy entrepreneur with tons of different projects going on out of Connecticut. There's tons to be learned in this episode for people across all industries and skill sets, especially business owners. I hope you enjoy. Let's jump right into the episode. So, kind of like a little bit about you. Like what do you do? If you could tell me a little bit about kind of like what you started off with, kind of a little bit of your backstory.
Sure. I started with acting. Modeling and acting has always been a passion of mine, ever since I was really young. And what I saw with that was the opportunity to make, passive residual income through royalties. Who wouldn't like that, So I started with that in high school. And, I graduated, I gravitated more towards the restaurant industry. It's like, it's one of those things where for some reason people that are servers and bartenders just love, modeling and acting. It's like peanut butter and jelly. I've been in the restaurant industry most of my life, and it's been really well to me. And, before the virus, and, it was through the restaurant industry where I met one of my mentors, Mr. Jeff Street, who really took me under his wing. People say that you need to start by loving yourself before you could really, love anyone else. And that's definitely something that resonates with me very well. The only thing about that is, it's kind of like you don't want to just love yourself for who you are at the time. Maybe you want to fix yourself, you want to better yourself, grow, personal development. And that's something that he really helped do for me, was put me on that track. He's a great guy, great mentor. We talk every day. And, he introduced me to another concept of residual passive income, which really just was right up my alley. So by acting and being at the restaurant, I'm also, a publisher. I publish some books to the Kindle, which, is just more passive income. And you could tell with, working at the restaurant, it's kind of like earning a commission in a sense, getting tips and stuff like that. But one thing he told me, and pointed out to me, is that the only problem with that is, what if I don't go to work the next day? I'm not gonna, I'm getting paid on my efforts for that night. I'm technically exchanging my time for money.
Yeah.
That's something I didn't want to do anymore, So, fast forward, he just, he introduced me to a simple concept, a concierge service that really resonates very well with real estate. And of course, real estate was always something that was on my mind, because it's like, it's just, who doesn't want to be a landlord? Who doesn't want to, own something, own an asset that's constantly generating, income and something of the sort. I just didn't have the money, So it really comes down to just, starting somewhere. And, I've been working with Mr. Street for, it'll be 2 years in 10 days. So, it's definitely very interesting. And honestly, I wouldn't recognize the person that I was, 2 years ago prior to meeting him.
That's incredible, to really like kind of see the world in a different way in such a short amount of time. It's crazy, man. Like, it only takes really like one person to completely change your life. And, it seems like you've definitely been through that and are on a really crazy path.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you kind of find out about like the royalties and stuff, like that kind of like concept? Like, did somebody kind of like tell you about it? Like the first time?
Oh, for like originally when I was younger?
Yeah. Yep.
You look at Hollywood actors and stuff like that, and it's like, oh my gosh, I love Ryan Reynolds. He's an amazing actor, really, and you look at how they get paid, and for a lot of people, you look at the big Hollywood actors, they'll get a small royalty, but at the same time, they get a big check all at once. But I just basically went on Google. I went on, websites, anything I could, just trying to figure out ways to make income while I sleep, like mailbox money, do something one time and continue to get paid on it, forever and ever and ever. And it's something that I thought was like a fairy tale at first, until I really started to look more and more into it, because, it's like I could call it the hamster wheel. We're stuck working a 9 to 5. And then you got the person that's like, well, I work 11 to 3. Ha ha ha. Like, great. Who cares? At the end of the day, it's like, you're still trading your time for money. You're letting somebody else dictate what you are worth. And that's something I didn't want to do. I mean, both of my parents, they'll easily work 70 to 80 hours a week. They'll get overtime, which is honestly a blessing. So many people nowadays are out of work and they're going through hardships with the virus and stuff like that. So it really is a blessing to be able to work and, provide for your family. But neither one of them were able to educate me on the concept of, just for example, real estate or
Hmm.
passive income, residual income. My mother told me, work hard, you'll get what you want. So I went off to college. I did a year. I didn't like it. I'm like, I'm setting myself up to work and trade my time for money. Maybe this profession will allow me to trade my time for more money, but it's not going to solve my problem of, how can I go out there and be able to travel at 30? I don't want to retire at 60 and travel, that
Yeah.
was just my mindset,
Yeah, that's really insane, man. I actually kind of did the same thing. I did 1 year of community college and was like, yeah, no, not happening. But you're right though. It's such a higher level thinking, and you're totally right. It sounds like a fairy tale. Like it sounds like, people are crazy when they talk about this kind of stuff. But that's because it's so untraditional, but realistic, depending on how you look at it. And
Exactly.
it's just, I mean, even like your parents might not have known, about that kind of thing. Like it feels like this is all like one big secret kind
Yeah,
of sometimes, and
exactly.
it's crazy, but like the information is out there.
Hmm.
It's just like, all it takes is kind of one person, or reading one book, or look at listening to one podcast or whatever to set the spark. And then you just want to keep knowing more over and over again. And
Exactly. One thing
yeah,
leads to
it's
another.
insane.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So to go right off of that, what is your drive and your vision for the long term? What's your why?
Well, my why is definitely my family. My daughter's 17 months. We're expecting my son in 2 weeks. So, nervous, confused, everything just wrapped up into one. But that's something that really I can, if I backpedal a little bit, I met Jeff. Jeff came into the restaurant that I was working at, just, I think it was 2 weeks after finding out I was going to be a father. So, I'm working 50, sometimes 60 hours a week between different restaurants and stressed out. And, so it was like perfect timing. But that's just it, is I don't want my daughter or my son to ever have to work a day in their lives unless they want to. Go find something, go do something you want to do. It's like, oh, I want to be, whatever. But it's like, oh, well, that's a low paying job. You got to do something more. It's like, no, if that's what
Yeah.
you want to do, go do it. So that's where the concept of passive residual income comes in. I've always thought of, starting multiple businesses and stuff like that. But the only thing in my industry now, I work with a lot of business owners, and what we're able to provide those business owners is basically a means of getting out of that. It's, you're not, I wouldn't necessarily say that you're in, the hamster wheel there. You are the boss, but it's still, does the business own you, or do you own the business? So that's kind of, that's where my head's been at, is I want to be a business owner, but it's like, it could be twice as demanding. You're making more money, but again, it's more demanding on your time. And, I didn't want to be that dad that's like, oh my gosh, I get to eat dinner with my father, but I don't get to, see him any other time. So
Yeah.
again, it comes back to that concept of, doing research, trying to figure out, how could this not be my reality? Because people say, oh, that's how it is. The man has to work, or, and I've always wanted my fiance to be a stay-at-home mom. And she always said, it's not possible. It can't work. It can't work. We live in, 2019, she said at the time, like, I need to work to provide.
Yeah.
And thankfully with Jeff's help and the mentorship and the system that he has built, I was able to replace, her income, her salary, and it's been a blessing. And it's funny because, she supports my decisions and everything 100%, but, she just like, look, this, it's not realistic. I'll follow you anywhere, but, this isn't a thing. I said, all right, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to figure something out. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. And then of course, 2 weeks later, there's Jeff, you know?
I
So,
love that, man. You're
oh, yeah.
totally right. It's almost like that was like really meant to be, that like you were having that conversation, and then right after, it just started to, start something really crazy.
Oh
You're
yeah.
totally right. I mean, like I feel like, life is way too short to be unhappy, working a job and everything. And like I mean, we only get a short amount of time on the earth, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't really understand why people would not necessarily um, try to like find an alternate route to take.
Hmm.
That might be, it might take twice the work, but it might be a lot more enjoyable, like long term and everything. And then, like you said, to be able to make that, to create that kind of lifestyle for your children as well, to not really be ever strapped for money. And
Hmm.
I feel like definitely like the time aspect of that too is really important, to be able to be there with them and watch them grow up and everything, and still, have things working in the background, and, be able to step away from certain things. And
Hmm.
yeah, that's insane.
Oh
It's
yeah.
such a really big picture thinking. And like, I wish everybody kind of knew about this,
Hmm.
and
Exactly.
like what was possible. And
Yep. Oh
it's a
yeah.
whole nother world out there.
Oh yeah, that's it. It's all, sometimes it just takes anything, just a thought, a hope, a dream, just to open your eyes to just things that, it's definitely, it's just one thing that's kind of a little bit off topic, but, why don't they teach us taxes in high school?
You're
You
right.
know, what, why? But, that's just how it is. The curriculum, that's how it is. So people just say, all right, well, there's the path. I know this. They're hopeful. They say, hey, if I go start my own business, maybe I could sell it off when I'm 50 and I'm free. I don't got to work till 65. It's like, but 50 is still a little bit getting up there for my liking, anyways.
Yeah.
More power to you. But you're thinking, if I do this for 30 years from 20 years old, I'll be good. It's like, what? To me, that blows my
Yeah.
mind. But that's just it. Is people just we see the same end goal, but they want to follow that path. And I guess in my opinion or my thought process on that, those people are that it's safe. They think, oh, if I just constantly do this for 30 years, I'll get a pension. If I keep doing the same thing I'm doing now, I'll be secure. And that's just it. I've always been, that risk taker. I've always been that person that says, you know what? Follow me. We don't need that path. I'm going to clear a path right to these trees. We know where we're going. We know where we have to go, the direction. But, I'm not afraid of the uncertainties.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. And, kind of to your point, like, I've kind of adapted the mindset that like you're always going to be working. Even if like your ventures and stuff don't work out, like, I mean, someone still has to put food on the table, you know what I mean? But
Exactly.
like, if you just keep pushing to create something, like eventually something's going to hit,
Yeah.
so like, why not, um, like kind of veer away from, I guess, like the path a little bit and take some risks,
Right.
and like try and attempt to make something better for yourself. And if not, I mean, yeah, like you'll have that W-2 job or, whatever in the background, or that you're going to have to work anyways. But what if you could create something that you enjoy, that it could actually support you, the same as the W-2 job that you might not have liked so much, and maybe, and then some, like, I don't really understand the mentality of, just kind of like the safety. And that's how most people are,
Yeah.
and it's especially, after like the whole corona outbreak and everything, and like tons of people losing jobs and everything. Like, I hope this kind of like starts to beg some questions on like, how do I be secure,
Exactly.
if something like this, like another unknown event, were to happen. Because I mean, if, like, super bigger picture, like if you only have that one job, that's only one leg to stand on. And like,
Exactly.
what happens if like the company closes, or, you get laid off, or, like, if that and whatever, like,
Hmm.
the and I mean, I feel like in this day and age too, even one source of income isn't close to enough,
Yeah. Exactly.
like,
It's not stable. I mean,
exactly.
yeah, people working 2 to 3 jobs, and I just, it's just not a life. I've done it. Of course, I've been there and stuff like that. And in that mindset, it's like I'm going to work very hard now. If I work a bunch of jobs now, I could retire early. It's like, I mean, it's a good thought. At least I was on the right track when I was 16 years old, saying, hey, if I work multiple jobs now, I could save money now. I could do this, this, and that now. I can get ahead of my thought process. So I've had that thought process, but, it never solved my problem. And at that point, I didn't realize it was a problem. I just thought I need to face reality that the only way to get ahead with anything is to just work super hard. I have to put in 60 hours a week. That's it. Because the average person will put in 40. I got to go
Yeah,
above, you know?
above and beyond. Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. What are your thoughts on building relationships and expanding your network?
Um, I mean, I'm just gonna go out there and say what a lot of the I would say intelligent people say about that. Your network is your net worth. That's it.
Hmm.
It's really comes down to who you know. You go to get a job, a W-2 job, and they want references, like, and that's for a reason. You want to have credibility. And it comes down to really anything entrepreneurial, anything business wise. If I was to go open, a cell phone store, I need to let people know I'm open, and by having that network, if I post on Facebook or Instagram and I have 2 followers, I have 2 friends, great. 2 people now see it. Are they going to come? Who knows? To, support their friend. But, by building a big network, it's like now more people are aware of what you do. And at the same time, you're able to give that back to them. And I feel like that's what our industry of our entrepreneurship industry, if you'll call it, that's
Yeah.
what we
Mhm.
need. We need more entrepreneurs supporting other entrepreneurs. um it's just at the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to. And by expanding your network, that's what it's going to do. It's going to just make people aware, that you're out there.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And like the amount of doors that open and stuff once you start to kind of like know everybody is it's insane. Like you never know. I mean, again, stemming back to like your mentor, like you met him and everything changed.
Exactly.
Like all it takes is one person or, one person finding out about something that you do, even if it was like an Instagram post about something that you're doing or whatever, like you never know like who's watching and who's out there.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, like if you, just kind of put yourself out there and like just build that base, as big as possible and then just keep growing it over time. I mean, the world's your oyster at that point. Like,
Exactly.
and
Here it
it's
is.
a ton of fun to kind of, like find out everybody's stories and like see what everybody's doing and see if you can help them out and everything and,
Mhm.
just help each other out because we all want to get to, certain points. So why not get there together,
Exactly.
you know?
And if anything, you need others to get there, and they need you just as well. You can do it by yourself, but I feel like it's way easier and it's more fun to do it with others.
Oh, totally.
The big thing my
Yeah.
mentor tells me is if you help enough people get to where they want to go, you'll eventually get to where you want to be. It's kind of like karma.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. It'll just come full circle. Like even just by being a good person and trying to help people out and everything, like it's insane, when things start to happen for you.
Mhm.
It's crazy. Moving on to our next question. So this one, I'm gonna kind of like broaden it a little bit because I know you have, a couple different things that you're into. What do you consider to be the biggest variable in expanding your clientele? Or I guess you could say maybe like people learning about your business or, it's pretty up to you.
Yeah, sure. So I'm sorry, could you repeat the biggest variable you said?
Yep. So kind of like the biggest variable for expanding your clientele.
Sure. So as we talked a little bit about it, so I work a lot with people, realtors, investors of the sort. And I basically have a franchise concierge service, and all that allows me to do by basically getting the word out there is we're able to provide an extra level of service for the clients of realtors and stuff like that. We're able to help realtors provide more value, but at the same time create an additional stream of income for themselves. Usually realtors just outsource all the services. We're really big in the service space. Our nickname is the Amazon of the service space. um, so yeah, basically by just networking, kind of like how we met.
Yep.
Just always being aware of what's going on. I'm happy to help realtors the same way they've added value to me. And it's just basically it's like say you're selling life insurance. It's like spreading the word. Let people know that, hey, this guy sells life insurance. Next thing you know, you're getting referrals. You're referring them clients. Hey, you're trying to sell a house. My buddy can definitely help you out. Yeah, so basically, did I hit all the points there? Or
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's a really big one. Just everything's like a continuous, like value add to people. And
exactly. Yeah,
then that starts to build those relationships and then those people start to, like refer you and, it just what goes around comes around, in both ways, I feel like. you know, definitely. What is the most important lesson that you've learned over your career so far? If you had to pick one.
hmm. I'd say consistency. Um,
Okay.
You know, it's like people say Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, things don't just, I mean, I guess for some people it could happen, but things don't just come your way. You know, opportunity will present itself, but you know, you have to, you know, seize the moment. It's kind of like how I'll say that, you know, it's 50%, or the way that I imagine it is it's 50% commitment and, you know, perseverance. The other half of it is having the correct vehicle, having something that you can utilize. You know, I can go and, I don't know, try to build a house out of sticks. It's like it can still get blown over by the wind. But
Yeah.
you know, I try to build a house out of bricks, and you know, let's say it's harder because they're heavier and stuff. It's going to take me a bit longer, but I'm building a solid foundation. You know, it's definitely something that trying to formulate the words. It's definitely something that I would say, like that formula, that 50-50 formula. It's just so huge to me. And it's one thing that I like to teach other people about is, you know, having the right vehicle, you know, because I've been through so many different vehicles, as you know. I had to find the right thing that worked for me, and that, you know, I could help work for others, you know, it's all, everyone's different at the end of the day.
Yeah, I definitely totally agree. You know, and like staying consistent, even like if certain vehicles and stuff don't work out for you, like just, you know, just keeping at it and staying consistent and finding, like, you know, like you just said, the ones that do and the ones that really work good for you, and like adapting with those is huge.
Mhm.
I really like that 50% like analogy, like
Yeah.
idea kind of thing. How do you define wealth?
Wealth. First thing that comes to mind when you hear wealth is money. You know, oh,
Yeah.
you're wealthy, you're wealthy, you're wealthy. To me, wealth really is, it breaks down to, you know, having not as much like being a millionaire, but more about being stable, comfortable, and having time.
Hmm.
Time to me is the most valuable thing. You know, you can't get it back. You can trade it for money and other things, but at the end of the day, um you know, me personally, I'd be comfortable in a small, you know, small little house just with my family. The
Yep.
ability to just not have to think about money and just be able to spend, you know, do whatever we want when we want. That's basically what it comes down to. You know, that to me, that's wealthy. See, someone says, "Oh, I'm wealthy. I'm wealthy." It's like, you know, how often do you see your children? Do you see them as much as you like? You know, maybe you want to get away from. I don't. You know, everyone's going to be different, but
Yeah.
that's just me personally. How I define it is that, I guess, the freedom. It's freedom to choose what you want to do. You know, so maybe some people want to be at the office extra long to get away from the wife. You know,
Yeah.
that's between them, and you know, but
Yeah.
having that freedom to choose what you want to do, that to me is wealth. Mm,
I like that answer a lot.
mm,
Definitely. It's, you know, it's pretty crazy. You know, being able to have that kind of choice, and you know, like you said, it's definitely different for everybody, but being able, I feel like kind of like, you know, having like the balance, um, you know, to be able to like, I guess, decide what you want to do with your time, and as well as, you know, not being it, not having to worry about, you know, what you can do or what you can't do depending on like your money and stuff like that. And
exactly.
yeah, I totally agree, man. That's, yeah. Moving on to our next question. What are the most effective resources that have helped you the most far on your journey? I know we kind of talked a little bit about, you know, like the network and like mentoring and stuff, but leave it open.
I'd say, because we tie so closely with real estate, you know, concierge service. By no means are we restricted to just working with realtors and real estate. You know, everyone has bills, especially with the virus. That's why our business has been very lucrative. Everyone's looking to save money. You know, cell phone service, gas, electricity bills, you know, cable. It's just, you know, it's really about, I would say, happy clients. You know,
Mhm.
for example, I know that you're from Mass. I've actually talked. I had a client. It was like 5 or 6 months ago. You know, I was able to help him save 65% in his electric bill. Now, of course, disclaimer: everyone's going to be different. You know, I don't know
Yeah.
who your provider is. It's always going to change. But at the end of the day, he's like, hey, you know, my friend gave me your name. He gave me a call. Hey, my friend gave me your name. Could you look at my bill, please? You know, da da da. And you know, that's just it. Is I feel it's happy customers, happy clients, anything of the sort. And that's why we tie so closely with real estate, because you know, as a realtor, you know, you want to stand out. You could have
Yeah.
so many people. You know, the market itself is very, you know, crazy right now, and it's a great time to be in real estate, in my opinion. But there's a lot of competition, and you definitely want to be able to stand out. So that's why I'm really close with realtors and stuff like that, because they want to have that extra level of service if they can get their client as like a welcome gift for their new home and stuff like that, or anything of the sort. Um, so that's basically what it comes down to, is just happy clients, happy people, happy partners. A lot of real That's the thing. Imagine being able to get paid a percentage of the mortgage every month of a client.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It sounds absolutely insane. I definitely believe we have close to the next best thing. Help people save money on the utilities, and then also make a small piece of those utilities. It's like getting paid on a client for the life of the client. They're all things that we can't really pay off. I can pay off my car, but can't pay off my phone bill or my electric bill. So
Yeah,
happy
of
client.
course.
Yeah, yeah.
That's beautiful, especially with everything going on and everything. And, like you said, people trying to save money and everything. Did you guys witness kind of like a pretty big like growth, as
Oh yeah.
everything kind of, I can imagine.
Oh yeah. My team personally, yeah, we had a pretty big growth, and of course, it's just people that are looking to save money, and then
Yep.
it's people that are looking to make an additional stream of income. Um, so client base and business partner base, we had a pretty great growth. And the key to that, of course, we just say is customer satisfaction, client satisfaction. People, what are you looking to do? I'm looking to save money. I'm looking to make money. I'm looking to do this. How do we go about it? It's like simple. My website is just like an Amazon type website. They can just go on there and shop for service right there. We're partnered with some of the biggest companies in around the country. So yeah.
That's awesome. Oh my God. What I don't know if we kind of talked about it, but like what kind of like opportunity, I guess, did you see for like the concierge service, like to like create something like that? Like did you see kind of like a gap in the market? And
Oh, sorry. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No, that's all right. It was done.
Oh, okay. Well, to me, when the opportunity was first introduced to me, my mentor Jeff has been in business now for 15 years with the company.
Yep.
And I saw the company was in business for over 27 years now. So I saw there's a reason. So many businesses, they go out of business after a few years. Um, but you just see the perseverance, the consistency, and that's something that I really liked in their model and stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
saw it was something that anybody can do. Because I have no background in real estate, of course. It's something I've always wanted to do, but it's something I never had the means to do.
Mhm.
So basically, what I saw is opportunity in the sense that um, not really a gap in the market, but these are services that everyone's already using. So it's as simple as a question. Who do you have for cable? How much do you pay for this? How much do you pay for that? Stuff like that. And then when it really just circled into real estate so well, it's like, wow, this is a no brainer. For me to just go and start to market, to network in the real estate market, in the industry and stuff like that. Um, yeah. So I mean, from there, it just kind of you know it's like market research with anything. If you want to know how to make your target audience and stuff like that. Our target clients are everyone, but potential partners now, of course, can be anyone. But real estate, it just peanut butter and jelly.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Oh my God. Um, what values are most important to you when it comes to doing business?
um Honesty, number one. Honesty. I feel like nowadays it's not that there's a lot of dishonesty in the industry as a whole. I mean, you could look at what I mean by industry. I mean, I guess direct sales,
Mhm.
marketing in general. Honesty just ties into that customer and client satisfaction. Um, because there's so many people nowadays that they'll do anything to make a buck. you know but when you're out there, you're honest with people, and you give that extra level of service to people. You show that you actually care about the person. That's when you get referrals. That's when you'll get a repeat customer and stuff like that. So I definitely got to say honesty is one of the biggest things, for sure.
That's definitely a big one. Yeah, that's huge. It definitely, ties everything together really nicely. Um, when people can see that like you genuinely care for, like their best interest and everything and helping them out. And, the doors that open from something like that are crazy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Definitely. Our last but not least question, Zakariya, we got, do you read? And what is your favorite business? Hold on, I'm sorry. Who's calling me? All right. Do you read? And what is your favorite business, investing, or real estate book that you would recommend to anyone?
It's a tough one.
Or even, like a podcast or something too, or,
Well, I'm torn between a couple. I love the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. That's definitely one that really changed my mind a lot, my mindset a lot.
Mhm.
It's a huge shift because leadership's everything, and you see how it's used in W-2s.
Yep.
If you're managing a restaurant and stuff, it's just if you have poor leadership in the restaurant, maybe it won't fail like right away, but it's not performing to what it could be performing at. It's performing at a lower level just by having weakened leadership. So it really taught me how to try to shape myself to become more of a leader to people, someone that people would want to work with. And that's definitely, I'd say, is the biggest one, next to, of course, Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. That sounds really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely going to throw that one on the list. You definitely read Rich Dad Poor Dad, but yeah, that one sounds really influential, and it definitely sounds really interesting.
Mhm.
It's funny you say that about like the leadership and like the business model too, because I was listening to a podcast this morning, and the guy was actually mentioning, he's like, oh, you can have like a business where the model isn't the best, but your team and like the leadership is really good, then it still might work out, but it doesn't work the other way around. If you have like a really good business model, but your leadership isn't the best, then it's probably not going to work out.
Exactly. Yep.
Wow. That's some
I
heavy
couldn't agree
stuff.
more. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, where could you be found on social media, Zakariya, or any of your other ways to contact you?
Social media, I'd say probably Instagram would be the easiest.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to take, you have me on Instagram. Besides that, I mean, email is fine. Facebook is another great resource. I'm all over social media. I'm not on Twitter. For the most part, I love social media. It's just what it's become, over the years. Of course, I'm 24 years old, so I remember leaving MySpace for Facebook, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, it's a new thing," but I can't have music on my profile when someone is looking at it. But yeah, so you have my Instagram. Feel free to drop it if you're gonna put it in a description of our podcast.
Yeah, I totally will. Yeah, I'll definitely drop all that. I'll drop like the website to your concierge service,
Yeah, of
or
course.
anything, whatever works out best. We'll talk after. But yeah, Rob, thank you so much for coming on here, Zakariya.
Thank you for having me,
It
man.
was a real pleasure, man. You have one heck of a story already, and you're already only 24. Like it's just unbelievable.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man.
All right, guys, that concludes our Creating Wealth podcast episode for today. I want to thank every single person that has listened this far. It really means a lot to know that people can learn from me and with me as we build wealth together. Hopefully, you can take home at least one thing from this podcast that will improve your life just a little bit. If you could, please check me out on social. That's at Kyle Curtin Real Estate on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm on Bigger Pockets. Until next time, let's build together.